Hey guys, how's it going? It's another day. It's another dollar. It's something. It's something else. Hopefully, you're all having a phenomenal moment. Hopefully, you're all able to enjoy a little bit of THC in your life, because you know I do. Sorry, we're just going to adjust the microphone a little bit here, and you know what? I'm still working on a new chair, because this chair is totally falling apart, and it's so squeaky, it probably sounds like I'm farting a mile a minute half the time. So, I don't know, we got to make some changes. And of course, my boom arm here for my mic it's not mounting onto the table very well. It's the grip has kind of come off, so it's one good bump and the whole thing's going to go down. Alright guys, so you know why we're here. We're gonna puff. We're just gonna do it. Why? Because puffing helps. If you've never been here before, you've never listened to this puffcast, this podcast is my moment. Well, I have depression. Bad depression. Not the worst depression, but pretty bad depression. And this is how I deal. This is how I cope. This is how I survive. I vent, I vocalize, and I get high. Why? Because it helps. Medicating definitely helps with the process of how you're feeling, where you're at, all that delicious goodness. And I say that in a weird way because I'm currently just scraping out the side of my Yocan Evolve Plus concentrates pen, and there's this huge dab of Reclaim that I just pulled out. And it still looks like it's got some body. It doesn't look like a full Reclaim, so that's why it's delicious goodness, because it's worth another hit later on. So we're going to clean that side, because on this new coil that I finally got a new coil, it's just building up. I haven't cleaned it a little bit. So you got to do your due diligence, and you got to clean off your stuff. Otherwise, it's not going to work very well for very long. Alright, so we've got some Bruce Banner number 3, some hybrid. Of course, we got this from our friends over at Budzone Canada at budzone.ca. It's the only place that I order from. These guys are super phenomenal, have super fire products, and really good prices. So if you're in Canada, please, please, please show them some love and go check them out. And if you're interested, put in an order, because they got some fire products. And no, I'm not paid to say this. I just love the guys over there because they have always hooked me up. Whenever I put in an order, it's always super fast. I get it very quickly. They always throw in a couple extra goodies, which is just generally what they like to do. I think with most orders, they throw in a little something extra. I think. I don't know if they do it with everybody, but it just appears that they do. It just, at the very least, they show their appreciation and their thanks for ordering with them. Because most places you order and it's just that. It's just like, all right, thanks. Here's another customer. However, with these guys, they put a lot into the whole process, really. So it's just nice to see a company, business, a dispensary that just takes that time and that care for you. If you're just looking to get high, you know what? They got great product. If you're looking to medicate and just help yourself out with different methods and ways, you know what? Check out the products, because they have a lot of different stuff. They have topicals. I've gotten it's that like misty spray thing. I can't remember the exact name of it. You gotta go check it out. It's in the extracts section, I believe. But it didn't do a whole lot for me. I'm a big guy, so I need a little bit more. The taste was alright, but I found I had to take a lot of it for it to work on me, at least. But my wife's like, hey, do you have any of that spray? Because she had seen me use it a little bit. I was like, yeah, I still do. Here you go. So I gave it to her, and you know what? She's like, that stuff's awesome. Just a couple sprays, and she felt good. She wasn't in pain anymore. And then she fell asleep. It's just slept all freaking night, which was awesome to see, because sometimes the wife doesn't sleep that well. So it was definitely nice to see her getting some use out of the marijuana. Because I'm a firm believer that marijuana will just help with so many different things. Actually, it's funny. One of my workers, it's on one of my really old contracts that I've had for a long time. And she came up to me, and she's talking about her arthritis. That on this contract, we do a little bit of maintenance, but I also subcontract to another smaller company that does some janitorial work for us because we don't have cleaners. This lady, I guess she's not my direct employee, but pretty close. She reports to me. She was talking about her arthritis and that she was trying this new ABCD oil. I was like, CBD oil? She's like, yeah. I was like, you know that it's derived from marijuana. She goes, fuck if I care. I just kind of smiled. She goes, it helps. I was like, you know what? I wasn't meaning it in a very negative way at all. Of course, I don't tell anybody, especially my employees, contractors, and coworkers. Nobody knows that I smoke. It's very hidden. Hush, hush, shh. But just seeing this lady and how happy she was that pain was gone, that tension in her hands was gone, that arthritis, that carpal tunnel just eases right off, and she could go to work for 8 hours and do her job and still feel good when she went home, which is just super cool to see. Seeing people of all generations of life trying marijuana in all the different forms, right? Because you got your CBD oils, you've got extracts, you've got edibles, you've got topicals, you've got creams, you got butters. Oh my God, teas. The list is endless and goes on and on and on. You can infuse marijuana into pretty much anything nowadays. So you can get that goodness in pretty much any way, shape, or form, which I think is just super awesome. Because a lot of people, they want to be very discreet about it, of course. Kind of like me. And they don't want everybody knowing, or they don't want to taste it, they don't want to smoke it, whatever. You know what? There's so many different ways. Check it out. Find a dispensary, do some research, find something that works for you. Because I know it works for me. Now, I, of course, also smoke a fairly good amount every night. I've been taking the odd dab during the day, especially today. Today was a hard one. The day itself was okay. I got actually quite a bit done. So I was pretty proud of myself for that. But just getting some news from somebody I do work with, just hearing some of the shit that's being talked about me actually, from higher ups in another division of our company. And it was very, very heart-wrenching to hear, basically. Just the crap and the drama that's being shared by mainly one person. So tomorrow I actually have to drive to another city for some training, actually. And I'll be in this divisional office, and I'm going to actually go and talk to this person, and I'm going to confront them. At least that's the plan. I say it now, I feel good about it. Tomorrow I'm going to be super nervous, kind of feeling wrecked about it. But it was hard when I came home today, after hearing what was said, got in the door, talking to the wife, and I broke down crying. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It really hurt. Just to hear this crap and how, it just doesn't feel like I'm part of this team, this company, that I'm being pushed to the side. And it's because, with this person in particular, back during summer, when I was really going through a really, really harder time than I am now, it took a long time. But finally, when I was able to finally admit that I do deal with depression, and that I was depressed as fuck. I was suicidal. And, of course, I didn't share all of that, but I shared the depression part with this individual and my manager in the divisional office. And from that moment on, they painted me into this picture that, you know what, let's just go around him. Let's not deal with him directly. So, feeling very... I'm sitting on the outside, looking in. I'm not part of the team. They don't want me there. That's how I feel. And it's discrimination. It really is. They're discriminating against me because of my mental health, which, as far as I know, is illegal. We have a very large health and safety department. We have a huge human resource department. Huge human resource department in this company. So I think tomorrow when I go and do some confrontation, a polite confrontation, I'm going to try to keep my cool, keep my shit. But I'm going to make it clear that, you know what, this shit stops, or I'm going to HR. And I will have no problem putting in a phone call to the VP of the company, who I have his direct cell phone number, because we do talk. And I know he would want to hear about this. So people just need to shut the fuck up and do their jobs and stop worrying so much about me and my job. If you want to worry about me, worry about how you can help me and better support me. Don't sit there and talk shit about me because I'm depressed. You know what? You're not depressed. You don't know what it's like. This person has openly admitted to somebody else. And this is the office politics. It's that stupid mentality. It's like a fucking high school, and it really pisses me off. Because we're all grown adults, and yet we can't just fucking do the job that we're hired for. We have to sit there and bitch and moan about each other. Really? Why? So, that's tomorrow. That's today. That's this moment. And it doesn't help anything. Because the more I hear this shit, the more it pushes me down in my depression. Because it just feels like, you know what, I'm failing. I'm not good enough. I can't do my job. I can't do it. I'm a failure. Everybody sees it. Everybody's talking about me. No, it's one person talking about me. One person pushing for me to fail. One person who just doesn't give a shit. I don't expect everybody's sympathy, support, compassion, none of that. But some understanding. It was very hard for me to open up about my depression with these people. And very shameful for me, because it's hard to talk about with people, with strangers, with anybody. Just people you know, people who have met you, people you deal with on a daily basis, to say, hey, guess what? I have depression. And I'm going through some shit. It's hard to say that. It's hard to admit that. So for me to take that step and do that, and then to be shit on basically because of it, you know what? I'm finally to the point, and I hope I can keep this mentality in my mind that, you know what? This is not fair. I'm not failing, but I'm a victim of my circumstance at this point, because I can't get ahead of my depression. I can't get out of this cloud as long as this shit is sitting on top of me from my company, because they're not helping me. I've identified my problem. I am open about it with them. I always accept my failures. I will always take ownership of my mistakes. I don't make a whole pile of mistakes, thankfully, because I am trying. I'm really trying, guys. But I'm tired of being a victim because I have depression. And that's what I'm being painted as. So I'm going to try and stomp that shit out tomorrow. It really does scare the shit out of me to have to confront and do this. And I don't know how it's going to go. I'm very concerned. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try for you guys. I'm going to try for me. I'm going to try for my wife. I'm going to try for my kids. Because I do need to command some respect. And assert my authority as the person in this position. Within this company, that, you know what, I don't accept this. Depression is not who I am. It's something I live with. I really have to switch my train of thought. And I think if I can kind of get the office, these guys over here, to stop dumping on me for this. Otherwise, there's going to be shit flying down in that office. If I can get them to knock that shit off, it'll kind of help elevate me. If they can, you know, instead of asking everybody else, how's he doing? How's he doing? You can come to me and ask me, how you doing, Tyler? You know, and just saying, do you need anything? I mean, it's one person, Tyrell, that I work with. It's tough. He's not always the most supportive. I don't think he really knows what's going on with me. I've never really shared, but I'm sure he's heard things. And I just get the impression that this person thinks I'm just looking for attention. I'm not. I don't like to talk about this. You guys know this. Anybody who knows me knows that I don't feel comfortable talking about my mental health, my well-being, anything to do with me, really. But I force myself to. So, enough of that bullshit, because right now we're sitting at 14 minutes and 26 seconds, and it is puff time. If you've never heard of puff time before, all you gotta do is take a puff with me. I'm about to get high. Hopefully you're gonna get high with me. We're gonna medicate, guys. If you got a blunt, backwood, bong, dab rig, cone, pipe, whatever you got. Maybe you got a nice big pen. Doesn't matter. If you smoke it with me, because we're about to puff. And if you don't, maybe just listen. That's cool too. Thanks for listening. Let's turn on the pen. That would help. Let's take a quick drink, because my throat's kind of dry, because I haven't shut up. And we are going to take this rip. Got a nice sized dab in there. Cheers, guys. It's puff time. Whew. That was a good one, guys. Whew. Cover my mouth when I coughed on that one, and I almost I almost shot something out of my nose because I just cannot shake this cold. It will not go away. I'm sure some of you can relate because this cold is going around with everybody. And it's like, no, we're not going. We're not leaving. All right, so I pulled off the dab in the pen here. When I took that first rip, I think I must have pulled a little too hard because although I got a pretty good rip off it, that dab kind of pulled to the side and only the corner combusted there. So we moved it back down. So we got a round two of the guy. You know, I just don't want to be snotty anymore. I don't want to have depression anymore. I want to be happy every day. Whew. I'm alive. I'm here. Oh, I'm snotty. I'm dying. My nose. I just want to just remove it. Hate this cough. Even when I'm not dabbing, it pops around every now and then. The past few days has been popping up a little bit more. And the runny nose thing is just really obnoxious. Anytime I get super hot, I get super congested. And I just sweat bullets. The fevers pop up every now and then. And I think why I've still been so sick. Well, not so sick. It kind of comes and goes. Sometimes it's really bad, sometimes not. I think is because of my stress and anxiety. Because I've been sitting on the brink of crossing over into depression land and just probably not coming back for a while. Just been on that edge for the past several weeks again. Well, off and on, honestly, since summer. And I think that's why I can't kick this sickness, because my body it's struggling. And it's a challenge just to keep going. Right? Some days those thoughts do come flooding back in. And it's scary. I've learned to accept that. I think they're always going to come around when I'm feeling a low. And by those thoughts, of course, you might be like, oh, what are you talking about? Suicidal thoughts. The scary ones. Right? And it's okay, although I don't really like talking about this part, but it is okay to talk about, because I was talking actually today with somebody I'm very close with, who I admire and respect very much, and they, of course, I knew they have bipolar, and they deal with all their own shit, and even this person said that, every now and then, and they've been diagnosed since they were like a young child, basically. And now they're close to 50. And this person said that every now and then those thoughts still come in about just not being here. When they get into a low, which obviously still happens, it's always going to happen, those thoughts, they do come here. And it's, she was saying that Obviously, she loves her kids and loves her family, would not want to leave them. I'm like, exactly. But sometimes in that low, it just feels like not being here would be easier instead of fighting. Because every day is a fight, every day is a struggle. Even though a lot of days I might just seem super happy, inside I'm screaming. Right? And that's the battle with depression that most people deal with. Or really any mental health is you hide it on the inside as much as you can to shield everybody because of the shame and embarrassment that you feel. But it's just it's an internal battle for a lot of us. So, but knowing, I don't know the exact numbers, of course, but I do know that a lot of people do suffer from depression in one form or another. I know in my family it is, I think, fairly common. So I was doomed from the start, I guess. Blame my parents. Oh my god, blame my parents. No, you can't blame anybody. Shit happens. All you can do is try to fight through it, deal with it, process it, move on. Well, you can't move on, just move forward. Learn to accept it. Learn to accept that it's always there. Always going to be there. Always going to be a part of your life, right? So, kind of like women and their period. You know it's always going to be around. Sooner or later you're going to see it. Is it fun when it's there? No, but it's not always there for a super long time, and then life is good again. It's just like that. See? I understand what you're going through, ladies. Totally. I'm joking. My wife would be like, no, that's nothing like it. But, kind of. You know what I'm talking about. You get it, right? You get it. Yeah, somebody has to get it, because that's all I have. Whew. I didn't even take a rip on that one. I think I felt a wave of, like, highness. So, that was, we smoked at what? 14 minutes? 15 minutes? Close to 15. It's been about 7 minutes since that first initial rip. The fact that I'm just now starting to feel effects, that's pretty good. 7-minute time. I do think it's kind of neat. Some things, of course, hit you really fast. Some things take longer. And now, of course, the dry mouth is creeping on. So that's also another sign. But one thing I really do like, actually, are creepers. I love a good creeper. Now, it's not something I want to smoke all the time, because, especially if you have a long delay, I've had a few, I can't remember. I should really keep a log of what strains I've smoked, because there's been some creepers over the years that I've really enjoyed, but I didn't write down the names, and it wasn't something I had a lot of, or very often, or ever again. But I've had some that was probably a good 20 to 25 minute delay before you really felt anything. I knew it was a creeper. I thought it was a slight creeper. Like a little bit more of a typical delay, which again I like those too. But no, it was a long delay, so I was smoking a good amount for probably a good half an hour. Of course, at that point, all of a sudden it just keeps kicking in. Then waiting, and there's just like, oh my god! Like I wasn't smoking non-stop for like an hour, but over a period of an hour, I probably took several hits. It would have been a Thursday, I know it, because Thursdays have always been my Fridays. So, but tonight is not Thursday. Because by the time you guys hear this, it will be Thursday, because it's currently Wednesday night at 10:52 p.m. I was thinking about going live tonight, but I find at the same time, the later I go live, very little interaction of live listeners. Of course, I do love live listeners. It is nerve-wracking at the same time to know that people right now, currently at this moment, are listening to the sound of my voice. If I was live. Right now, currently at this moment, as I say this and as you hear this, you are listening to this, but it's not quite the same, I'm high when my analogies get really weird. But there was a point, and the point wasn't relevant. So, we're just gonna keep moving on from that one. I was talking about creepers at one point. I really want to get me some Violator Kush again, actually. The last time I had that, well, the first time I tried it was down in Vancouver during my daughter's cancer treatments. A good friend of mine was down. They were dealing with their own stuff. And he'd come from the island. And if you've ever had weed from the island, and of course the island I'm talking about is, Victoria area, pretty much anywhere around there. I've heard even Nanaimo has pretty decent weed out there, which makes sense because it's just kind of like a wetland in my opinion. But anyways, so if you ever had island weed, you know what I'm talking about. So he had a nice good fat joint for Violator Kush. We smoked it in his truck outside of Ronald McDonald House, actually. We weren't on their parking lot. We were out on the city street. And, man, was that... it just fucking wrecked me. Like, insanely. It was good, though. And then the second time I tried it, I had come across it from my other dispensary down in Vancouver. Lotus Land. So... I love popping in there because they have a full storefront. They also do mail order, and they got a really, 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 really good selection of weed. But it's not always super awesome, I find. Whereas everything from Bud Zone always is. But I think it's because they get so many different strains going through the store. They some of them just don't have enough cure time, I think. Because the strains those. Anyways, I'm kind of trying to make excuses here. That's not the whole point. Check them out. They're a good place to shop as well. But they had Violator Kush. And Violator Kush is, if you've ever had it, it will wreck you if you are not seasoned. So the first time I had it, of course, it wrecked me. Like completely. And that was the island strain. So of course, the next time I had it, again, was actually just after my daughter. Not long after that, we found out that she was terminal, and that we didn't have much time left with her. So, yeah, my brother he flew down from, down on the other end of Canada there, and I'd picked up this Violator. I got the pasties again, guys, I'm sorry. I picked up this Violator Kush. So there's me, there's my brother, and there's my father-in-law. And we're all playing cards, which is what we pretty much did every night. My father-in-law and I, at least. Outside under the patio, out in the garden. They had these really nice heat lamps. It was bearable to sit out, even in the cold. So, and of course, where we were, it was a children's hospice. Right. So... we were playing cards, and of course I roll, a decent sized joint. I wouldn't say crazy size. Decent size. Enough for 3 people. And, jeez. So, the night before, I should reference this. The night before, and I think I have mentioned this once on the podcast way back in the beginning. My brother and I had smoked probably 2 joints, and we just got really giggly and stupid high. Well, this time, of course, with the Violator Kush, my father-in-law, he probably had, 3, 4 good rips. Well, my brother, he probably had about 5, 6. I was more than that. It was hitting me, but with my brother, he was tripping balls. Mind you, he hadn't smoked in a long, long time prior to the night before. And you can tell this one was, I don't know, but it was some pretty strong stuff, guys. And my brother was just tripping balls. Of course, I enjoyed the high. However, the part I didn't like is that it literally made me forget for probably a good hour. Not necessarily forget, but not even think about remotely the fact that my daughter was dying. And that's not something you want to forget, because when that rush of emotion comes flooding back in, and reality, let's face it, reality comes smacking you in the face, and then you think about it for that first time in an hour, because when you hear the news that your daughter's dying, or whoever in your family is dying, that's all you think about all the time. That thought's always there. So when it feels like it's not, you're not thinking about it, and then it comes flooding in. Oh my God, I was so upset. So I smoked it. I think I only vaped it after that, the last little rest of the eighth that I had, because I didn't ever want to forget like that again. Because that was worse than anything else. Just remembering that, hey, yeah, she's dying. That was, yeah. So, like I said, Violator Kush, it will wreck you if you're not prepared for it. And I've never actually smoked it since, mind you. I haven't come across it since. But I believe, let's go check it out right now. Actually, I believe Budzone got it in. Well, they did it a while ago. I don't know if they still have it, but I'm gonna check that out, guys. I'm gonna check it out right now. Bear with me. Budzone.ca. This comes right up because I never clear my cache, and of course I go there so much. Even when I'm not ordering, I'm always checking to see what they're getting in, because I like to keep tabs on them. Because if they get in something super awesome, I know they might sell it, because these guys are getting really popular now. So I like to see what they're getting in, because I don't want to miss something. Okay. Oh, you know what? Their website on the laptop here, it looks so much better than on the phone, because it's so condensed on the phone. I like more detail, honestly. But yeah, right now they got Master Kush for, that's a good price. Holy crap, that's a really good price. Jack Herrera, Pink Lady, Juicy Fruit, Lindsay OG, King Kush, Rock Bud, Violator Kush, baby, $160 an ounce. That is cheap. That's very cheap. That's a good, probably $90 cheaper than anywhere else that I've seen it. They also have original cheese. I don't know. I'm not. Just the cheese strains are just. I'm not. I've tried, of course, blue cheese. It's decent, but I have hesitation to smoke anything with the cheese name in it. I don't know why. But yeah, they also got that BC Chemo Zombie OG. That stuff looks pretty sexy. It's got some good dense nugs there. Pink Kush, Moby Dick, Lemon Skunk, Trainwreck. Ooh, I like Trainwreck. I've tried that. Well, it's been a while. Headbanger, Silver Haze, and yeah, that'd be it. Ooh, you can buy gift certificates from them now. That's pretty cool. They also have. They have a new calendar out. Ooh, I like that. 2018 Budzone calendar. Pre-orders, delivery in January. $20. You know what? I'm curious what it looks like. Talks about all the different strains. Ooh, that's cool. It's like marijuana facts about different strains, I think. Ooh, that does look cool. Very neat. Ooh, they have a preview, a sample. I'm gonna check it out. Let's go look. Let's look here. Open up image. Alright, it's loading. It's going. Ooh. Oh, that looks nice. Ooh, that's very cool. I'm gonna have to order one. I'm definitely gonna need a calendar. I won't be able to put it up in my house. I don't know where I'd put it, because I don't want the kids to see it. But I want one. Maybe I'll have to just buy one and have a cubby hole where I could open. I don't know. It sounds weird, but a marijuana calendar? Come on, that's cool. Yeah, very cool. All right, so we're gonna close that. Move off from it, because just so you know, I got the pasties. Not that you didn't know, because I'm sure you guys can hear that. Of course, I can also hear my wife walking around upstairs, probably in the kitchen. She came down, probably had a drink. She's been coughing quite a bit. But it's funny because whenever I can hear my wife upstairs, I always get hesitant to talk because she's never listened to a show. She doesn't know the name of the show. She doesn't know much about the show other than what I tell her. And she knows why I do it, how I do it. Because I don't hide that from my wife, right? But she knows this is my thing. But I get very hesitant. Like, oh, she can hear me. She can hear me. I don't know. It's kind of funny. What are we going to do here? You know what? I think we're going to change coils here. It's been a while now. Of course, I still haven't found that the little cap for my Yokan Nix mod. Yeah, I know it's somewhere in my SUV. And I might just have to buy a new coil. Which would be, super helpful. However, no, it's not even the coil. Because I found my other coil, actually. I had a brand new one for it. But it doesn't come with the little topper. Because the topper is part of the pen. And you don't replace that. So I might have to, if I can't find that fucker, I might have to buy a whole new one. Not a big fan of that. But we are we're gonna puff, guys. It's puff time, don't you think? I think it's puff time. Probably after this one, I'm probably gonna work on my latest track. Actually, I felt creative several days ago, last week, I guess. I think whatever it was. So I've been slowly working on bit by bit. Pretty much every day I put in a little bit of time on this, and just creating this cool little track, a little something different. And I find it makes me happy, and I need to keep doing things that make me happy. That's why we're gonna puff, because guess what? It makes me happy. All right, guys, it's puff time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming out. If you liked it, give the show a like. I don't care. It doesn't matter where you're listening from. Maybe you're listening from Spreaker.com, Google Play, or iTunes. Give it a like if you like this episode. And if you like the podcast, please give me a follow, subscribe, get those notifications turned on so you know when I put out a new episode, because you never know when I'm going to put them out. I usually put out at least 2 a week. That's generally been the feeling of what I've been trying to do. Minimum is 2 episodes a week. Sometimes more. So, thank you very much. And of course, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Those are the main ones. I think it's Puff. It's Puff. Is it Puff time, right? That's where we're going with this? Alright. Always remember, stay lifted. Keep smiling. Peace. Catch you on the next one.